I put out a tweet today talking about frustration. Frustration came up last night in a conversation that I was having, and it was interesting because I got asked by a buddy of mine a couple of days ago about frustration, and we were having the conversation, and then online somebody hit me up about frustration, and today my buddy came back at me about frustration, and somebody else hit me up, and I thought, wow, it's really coming at me from all different sides, and I thought we needed to talk about it. The question that got asked me was, how do I deal with frustration? How do I make it so easy to deal with frustration? Let me read you the tweet I put out. Frustration is a killer. Not giving into frustration can be the difference between success and failure. It feels justified, but it's a difference maker. That is, if you can stay under control, understanding frustration, your chances of success are greatly improved. Let me explain. When you get frustrated, I believe that control of that frustration is a big circle. So frustration begets frustration. As you get frustrated because you couldn't find your car keys, and then your wife comes in and she's going to help you find the car keys, but then she can't find the car keys. Then you get frustrated at her. So now you yell at her and she's mad at you, and the frustration just goes around in a circle. And finally you find the keys, but now you're late, right? Frustration begets frustration. How do I handle something like that? Simple. I look at it analytically. My keys are lost. There's nothing I can do about the keys. And I've felt it. I've taught myself, though, this over the years. It's a skill that I have attained, that I've acquired over a lot of work, over a lot of years. I use the keys as a perfect example. I have a bowl right in the front of my house. When I walk in the door with those keys, either I've left them in the car, because, of course, I live in a gated house. Either I leave them in the car. Either I leave them in the car, or I put them in a bowl right inside my front door. If I don't put those keys inside that bowl, those goddamn keys are lost. They're gone. And so I put the keys in there because I know that when I lose those keys, I lose my mind. I don't know, as I got older over the years, since I've been driving, anything that frustrates me more than losing my keys. The key to that, though, is over the years, I would have yelled and screamed and got pissed and thrown shit around, and my keys are lost, and now I'm late for work, and the boss is going to yell at me, and on and on. And again, frustration begets frustration, where if I had done, what you lose in that mix is if I had done what I'm supposed to do and put the keys where they're supposed to go, there is no frustration. But because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, now I'm taking it out on the people around me or myself for something I didn't do. So analytically, I look at that and go, that makes no sense. Plus, what's the value in becoming frustrated? What do you get from becoming frustrated? Nothing. You learn nothing. It's deleterious to the work that you're doing, meaning you're not going to make good decisions when you're frustrated. How many of us have made bad choices while we're frustrated that got us into more trouble from yelling at a friend, yelling at a coworker, yelling at the boss, yelling at your wife, yelling at the dog, whatever it is? So frustration is a normal, natural human response, I believe, and it's an emotional response. And so the question is, how do you control frustration? And you control frustration mentally. That's how you do it. You turn it into a game. That's what I did. I turned it into a formula. I analyzed it and said, this is what I'm doing. Is there any value in that? I'll give you another personal example. I will go, my schedule is always last second. Everything I do is last second, which is really my nice way of saying I'm late everywhere I go. So everything I do is last second. And so I will tell my wife, all right, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm leaving work at 6:30. I'll pick you up at 7. Inevitably, I leave work at 10 to 7, and I'm picking her up at 7:15. And I'm calling her to let her know I'm pulling up out front, and she says she's not ready. She's going to be a few more minutes. Now, historically, I would have been like, for the love of God, you're late. I gave you all this notice. Why? And there'd be this contention between the both of us. I'd go marching in there and, are you ready? Let's go. Stand over her, wait for her to be ready. Just a complete dick. In the last 10 years, I have learned that there's no value in that. And realistically, looking at it analytically, my wife is much more important than whatever it is that I'm going to go to. So it doesn't matter if I have a meeting of the most importance. There's nothing more important than my wife. Now, my wife isn't screwing around and not getting ready. She's doing the best she can to get ready. And I need to give her time to do it because she's the most important thing in this matrix, if you will, because she's the only thing that matters. So I just told myself and taught myself, I feel that anger. I feel that frustration growing. I need to relax. I need to understand why it's coming on. And then I need to tell myself what's important. Is it important that I'm right and my wife wasn't on time, even though I'm late, which I've gotten pissed off about before? How stupid is that? I'm the one that's late, and I'm taking it out on her. There's no value in that. So what I do is you walk through it, and you just say, she's the important one, not me. And it doesn't matter when I get there. I'm late everywhere else I go anyway. If she's going to make me a couple of minutes later, it doesn't matter. We just continue to go forward. So we're 10 minutes late, and there's no fight between us. There's no getting pissed off. When I lose my keys, my wife will, years past, I'd be pissed, and it would be kamikaze. I think everybody can relate to this, particularly you dudes, because we're assholes when it comes to this. It's just nuclear bomb. Everyone stop what you're doing. I want everybody's attention because you're going to do for me what I want, which is help me find my keys. Now, when I can't find my keys, and for me, I'm an idiot. This keys might as well be the simplest spoon I want to eat a bowl of cereal, but I can't find the spoon that I like. So I'll just take a deep breath, understand that I'm getting pissed off, and then I'll turn to my wife and say, honey, can you please help me find my keys? I can't find them anywhere. So I need help. And so rather than being frustrated and rather than being pissed, I simply ask, I need help. You learn these things as you mature and as you get older, easier. But us dudes have a much harder time of it than the women do. In fact, I would say that us guys are probably the worst at doing this. We're the worst at carrying on and blowing things up and turning things nuclear when they didn't need to be. So how does that relate to business and success? Since I started that path 10, maybe 15 years ago, my life has changed significantly. My ability to function and operate in my job is greatly improved. My ability to multitask is greatly improved. My ability to manage multiple people and multiple things and multiple projects is greatly improved, both inside of one business and inside of another business. I just don't get frustrated. I don't get mad. And I don't allow myself to get mad. If I do, if I'm feeling frustrated, I talk myself through it so I don't. And the basis of that is what I've talked about 1,000 times, and I can talk about 1,000 times more, is I'm responsible for everything. The key to beating frustration is a mental exercise. Once you tell yourself everything is your fault, then there's nothing to be frustrated about. Accept it yourself. So you need introspection when you make that mistake and you get frustrated and you get pissed off. You need to calm yourself down. You need to be introspective about it. You need to look at it and say, what did I do that caused this? What's the ramifications of this happening? And what could I have done? You'll say to me, Jerry, you can't do anything. There's nothing I could do. Yes, there is. There's always something that you could do that could have made that person do the job differently. Maybe you counted on them too much. Maybe they did half of what you did. How many times have we gotten pissed off because you're out working that coworker next to you? Where's the value in that? There is no value in that. So if you analyze the thing that get you frustrated, if you analyze the things that piss you off during the day, all they do is cost you money, period. They cost you a raise, promotions. If you're in business, cost you sales, cost you employees, which is expensive to find new employees and to recover the ones that you lose. So it's better that you don't lose them in the first place. That's much cheaper. Across the board, being frustrated and letting that act out costs you money. Also costs you physically, right? You can feel it when you're frustrated. Who likes to go through the day pissed off? So I want you all to think about frustration as a mental exercise. Be introspective about how to control it. That means that analyze it and figure out what you could have done to change that. So the next time that comes up and you're feeling like you're going to scream at your wife, take advantage or take direct control of it, take responsibility for whatever it is, and just calm down and work your way through the process. Next time you're pissed off at somebody at work, remember that you're Superman and they're not. So when you're Superman, you have to take everything and they don't. Ultimately, that will get you ahead. In the short term, it's hard to manage that. It's hard to understand that because in the short term, we just see them getting over because you're doing twice as much work. But I promise you, when you're doing twice as much work, you ultimately will get ahead. It might take a month, it might take a year, it might take 10 years, but ultimately the payoff will be to you. In the short term, the person doing half as much might get over. And then you give up all of the gains you have by doing twice as much work. You give all of that up by getting frustrated and acting out. So, mental exercise. Emotionally, you feel that frustration. Mentally, you've got to control it, walk through it, tell yourself what the issue is, take responsibility for it. I promise you'll have success.